Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, not here with Geeky Sparkles again in this video. I promise she's going to be back, hopefully tomorrow. She's very busy this weekend. We're going to talk about cancel culture and John Lasseter, the former creative officer, creative head over at Disney Animation and Pixar, legendary animation personality who was canceled a couple of years ago for, I guess, hugging people. It was very, very nebulous. He wound up resigning from Disney, I'm sure, under a lot of pressure. And after he left, he wound up taking a job at Skydance Animation, is actually working on projects right now, including Luck, that look more like Pixar than what Pixar has been producing. Now, what's interesting is after he left, they're basically Disney was basically taking pot shots at him, or somebody in PR taking pot shots at him. There were multiple reports, multiple articles about how Disney is making a comeback. Pixar is going to make a comeback without John Lasseter. And they talk about, I mean, they were trying to promote Soul. Here, this is the Hollywood Reporter, same as this. They were trying to promote Soul by throwing John Lasseter under the bus and talking about how the company is going to build back stronger, build back better without him. And they talk about John Lasseter at length, and then they go on about Pete Docter, who directed Soul. Just a couple of weeks ago, they had this article too. They're talking about John Lasseter. After Lasseter, where's Pixar going to go? Right in the effing toilet. Lightyear was a disaster. Lightyear was terrible. It was a disaster. But now, John Lasseter does not appear to be canceled. We've been saying this for a while. And I want to talk about this because in the animation industry, in the creative industries, it seems like people get canceled harder than they do in other industries. And John Lasseter was, just a couple of years ago, considered absolutely toxic by a lot of people working in animation. They don't even know why he was toxic. They were told he was toxic by the media. They were told he was toxic by Twitter. I still don't have a full understanding of what went down that led to his resignation / firing. But the Hollywood Reporter did put another article out just a couple of days ago, and I got to give a hat tip to CCG for sending it over. I did see it, but I thought, hey, this is one worth covering. It's a weekend. It's really interesting. We've been talking about the reversal of cancel culture. And John Lasseter was absolutely canceled by the animation industry, and he clearly is not now. In fact, a lot of people are very excited about what Skydance is going to do. A lot of former Disney employees are now working with John Lasseter again at Skydance. And I have to tell you, I saw the trailer for Luck, and it really does feel like a Pixar movie, like a classic Pixar movie. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, over 273,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We do talk about the animation industry. We talk about comics. We talk about Disney, having worked in and around the company for a number of years, different capacities, contractor, media. And, I've got some friends over there. We dunk on Disney a lot, but that's because we care. We care. Disney's not what it used to be. And part of the reason Disney is not what it used to be is because they've been canceling some of their best people, like John Lasseter. But before I get into this video any further than that, I want to give you the heads up on Crimson Wren, Volume 1, coming to Indiegogo soon. It was going to be Kickstarter, but Kickstarter's up to some shenanigans again. I'm not real happy with what I'm seeing. They're allowing fraudulent campaigns to run on their platform with very little investigation. So anyway, Crimson Wren, this is something that we actually had optioned at one point. This is something that Geeky and I have been wanting to see done in some form for 10 years. And we were fortunate enough to be able to land Jose Garcia, who actually has quite the pedigree working in animation and animation style projects. And he's bringing to life this graphic novel. It's part one of 2 parts. It's over 130 pages, and the artwork is absolutely beautiful. It's an amazing book. Wait till you see some of the pages. This book is incredible. It was written to be a movie or a TV show pilot, and he did a damn good job on it. And we're very excited to bring it to you. It's almost finished. The book is almost finished. It just needs to be lettered. We have a couple more pages we have to do yet, and then it has to be lettered, and then off to the printer it goes. But it is coming to Indiegogo, so make sure you sign up to be notified. I'll put a link in the comments. Back to John Lasseter. Yeah, this article, pretty interesting. They're talking about his second act. They said no one could tell a story like John Lasseter until he resigned as Disney Animation Pixar's chief creative officer in the wake of Me Too complaints. Again, complaints, allegations. John Lasseter is a very touchy-feely guy. He probably shouldn't be current year, but he is. And it got him into trouble. But I don't think there was any sort of sexual impropriety or anything like that. He's just too touchy-feely for some people's liking. I'm sure he isn't now. But anyway, now he's the head of Skydance Animation, where he oversaw Luck. He's attempting to turn his own story around. So the director said, we met with these young people and they shared their stories with us, and we were so incredibly moved by their positivity, their generosity, and their never give up kind of attitude. Talking about kids growing up in foster care. These are people who have had some real bad luck in their lives. We wanted to honor their bravery. Again, this is sort of the root of most Pixar stories. You know, kind of taking everyday events and everyday relatable things and turning them into, just an amazing story that pulls at your heartstrings. So I'm encouraged that they're kind of going back to basics. It's that kind of creativity sparking empathy building research that became common in the field of animation after it gained currency at Pixar and Walt Disney Animation Studios under John Lasseter, who encouraged filmmakers to travel to Scotland for Brave and to the South Pacific for Moana. Again, this is kind of Disney's second golden age of, well, I guess it'd be third or fourth, but it was definitely a golden age for 3D animation under John Lasseter. Such excursions are among the signatures Lasseter took with him to Skydance, where he was controversially named the head of the studio's animation unit in 2019. Lasseter also carried over the concept of a collective story trust, a group of thinkers at the studio who workshop each other's films together. And he brought on Holmes, who had worked with at two films at the now defunct Disney Toon Studios, as well as the writer of Luck, Akil Murray, a former Pixar colleague. There have been a lot of people that have left Disney for Skydance to work with John Lasseter again. So, I mean, for somebody that's supposed to be canceled, he's definitely not canceled, and he's still very, very respected. Lasseter is a lion in his field. He directed Toy Story. Yes, we needed him on Lightyear. They talked about that. They said he resigned from Disney in 2018, roughly 6 months after acknowledging what he described as missteps that made some Disney Pixar staff members feel disrespected or uncomfortable in a 2017 memo. Employee complaints included unwanted hugging and implicit bias. What the hell does that even mean? Implicit bias. So he hugged people too much, and that's one thing everybody knows about John Lasseter is he's a hugger. And apparently he didn't listen to people's ideas enough. When Skydance CEO David Ellison hired Lasseter to run his then 2-year-old animation studio in 2019, replacing then Chief Bill Damaski, the move sparked fierce protests. Okay, this is interesting. In a letter to members, Marge Dean, that's Margaret Dean, who is the head of Women in Animation, who was responsible for High Guardian Spice. Let that sink in. Marge Dean was responsible for High Guardian Spice, and she's going to lecture John Lasseter, the man behind Pixar. Just let that sink in. She said she was shocked and distressed, and Emma Thompson backed out of a voice role in Luck, and then under director Alessandro Carloni, citing Mr. Lasseter's pattern of misconduct. In the 3 years since, however, Lasseter and Skydance Animation have been quietly building an independent animation studio modeled on the same principles that drove Pixar in its early days under co-founder Steve Jobs, namely the idea that excellence is the best business strategy. So Luck premieres next week, August 5th on Apple TV+. I'm telling you the truth, I don't subscribe to Apple TV. I might subscribe to Apple TV just to watch this movie. The studio's going to unveil its creative ambition and Lasseter's next act, which will closely be watched by the professional animation community and diehard Disney Pixar fans. So Skydance has grown from 65 employees to nearly 900 with John Lasseter. Acquired an animation studio out of Madrid, has a multi-year film and TV deal with Apple. They got Brad Bird. We've talked about that. They got the Zootopia director. They got Alan Menken. Basically, John Lasseter got canceled and he took Disney with him. He took Pixar with him. I mean, talk about a comeback, right? Talk about a comeback. And again, I don't know the details of what happened. But I do know people that know John Lasseter, and I have heard that, yeah, he hugs people. He's always done it. It weirds some people out, but that's just how he is. And he's got a lot of women working for him. He's got Jane Fonda doing the voice of the dragon. She took over for Emma Thompson, and Jane Fonda, of course, is very progressive. I don't think Jane Fonda would be working with John Lasseter if she thought he was a creep. The outrage that has greeted Lasseter's hiring has quieted, at least publicly, but some in animation remain skeptical. I'm less angry now. It's more letting a so-called creative genius continue to take up positions in space in an industry that could begin to be filled with different people. I wish the leadership above Lasseter would take a look at what they're valuing and what they're willing to take a chance on. He's taking up space. John fucking Lasseter. John Lasseter, who literally wrote the book on the Pixar style, the Pixar method of storytelling. John Lasseter, who changed the rules of the game, is taking up space in the animation industry. Is that what this was actually about? That's why I have to wonder. Cancel culture, I really wonder if it's more about getting certain people out of the way because you think you're going to be the next John Lasseter. You think if they're out of the way, your competition is out of the way, you're going to get your shot. He's John Lasseter. In animation, it doesn't get any bigger right now. It really doesn't. And people are absolutely going to give him a chance. Again, I don't think anything that went down was sexual in nature. It was just, he was a little too touchy-feely and he didn't listen to people enough, and Disney's gotten really fucking weird. Really weird. In Lasseter's case, the CEO of Skydance made sure that there was nothing going on. They did a background check. They hired attorneys to scrutinize the claims. Settlements made by Lasseter are on his behalf. Ellison decided that Lasseter was not only employable, but a potentially transformative leader for his new animation company. Ellen has conceded he mishandled the announcement of the hire and should have been more transparent to and inclusive of his employees making the decision. Some people quit. They did. They're like, oh shit, I'm not working for John Lasseter. But a bunch of people came from Disney. Skydance is best known for producing live-action films like Top Gun: Maverick and the Mission Impossible franchise. So they know what they're doing. They know what audiences want, right? Former Skydance employees say Lasseter's too controlling. Oh, God. So, anyway, we've got Brad Bird, we've got John Lasseter. Basically, he's not canceled. Cancel culture is ending because a lot of it's stupid. There are some legitimate claims that have arisen. I mean, with, Harvey Weinstein, whatever. But Lasseter was never in the same, camp as Weinstein. Hugging people and maybe being a little arrogant or a little dismissive of them is not the same as, literally like raping people. Okay. And I think for people who aren't doing anything illegal, who maybe just have pissed off the wrong people or have the wrong politics or whatever, that cancel culture is definitely being reversed. This is another sign of it. People are tired of it. If there's money to be made, lesser infractions are being overlooked. People are moving on. And I look forward to seeing what he's got up his sleeve because, again, this is a guy who's really transformed the animation industry, and hopefully he'll do it again. If nothing else, he's certainly not just taking up space. I can't believe that some director at Cartoon Network's like he's just taking up space. Fuck that. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.